Okay, hello everybody. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for being here. As usual, now we are live on YouTube, so I guess this is going to be a little bit of a change, a little bit of a difference between our usual um, tool, the usual tool that we use for our webinars. So I'm gonna jump. Hi, Chris. First of all, I want to say that there's a little bit of a lag between when I talk and when I show you something on the video and when you actually see it. There is about like 15-20 seconds. So if I don't answer your questions immediately, I mean, be patient. It's not that I'm not caring about the Hi, Annie. It's not that I don't care or I'm not reading. It's simply that there's a little bit like 15-20 seconds of lag. And then, as usual, I'll have to jump back and forth from the um, let's say page from the windows that I'm showing and to the live chat. Yes, hello everybody. Hello Chris. Hello Annie. Hello Richard. Now let's try to pop up the chat, and then we're gonna resize this window, which is gonna still work. All right, and then we're gonna put the chat here so I can see you guys as I'm going to. All right. All right. So as we said, first of all, welcome everybody. We have still to learn a little bit um, how to, let's say, have guests and all that. So tonight, actually, for me, it's going to be just me. As anticipated, the main topic of today's webinar is going to be a new widget that we have. Hey there, appsdeveloper.cal, going very well. I was saying, so we're going to talk about a widget that we just released. And again, once more, I want to thank Diego here in Italy because he, let's say, suggested a tool which is called Owl Carousel, which is a carousel, let's say, based on jQuery, which allows developers to create very nice looking carousels. And so what I'm going to show you is a demo of this new widget. We're going to talk about this new widget. I'm going to show you all the features and all that. And then, as usual, we're going to see, you're going to ask, I don't know if it's going to be enabled or not enabled in your account. And as usual, you can ask support to enable it on your account. Hello, John from the UK. Good evening, I guess. Yes, you are more or less in my time zone. All right, so let's wait again. Let's wait a couple more minutes. In the meantime, let me give you a few, let's say, anticipations on what we're doing and what we are working on. This is a widget that we just released. We also have, and you might want to contact support if you are interested in this. We have also created a dedicated group for the BNB widget that we talked about last week. So the widget that should, replace and okay. All right. One that you have selected. One. Sorry, I can't actually see. All right. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I was saying that last week we talked about the BNB widget, and then we had, again, we created a group of people that are testing it. So if you're interested in that, contact support, and they will let you in. They will enable it on your account so you can test it. We have added a few new features since last week, and in general, since probably talking about this widget won't take too long, I will give you another little bit of insight into what is going on the B&B widget. Again, just a very quick heads up, the B&B widget is what we created to, let's say, allow you to replace Airbnb booking and all that, or in any case, replicate that on your website. So basically, you are able using the B&B widget to to allow your customers to book rooms and apartments and stays on your website without the need to use external tools, again, like Airbnb or Booking. Anyway, so let's jump right into the carousel widget. As usual, it's a standard, let's say, widget, so you access it by adding it to your page. And again, as usual, this is one of the many features, many advantages of the MobiFirst approach, in a sense that you can add as many widgets as you want to a page, right? So you could, in theory, add more than one carousel, and we might try that. Later on, to add more than one carousel, more than one widget to the page. So as you see, as usual, you add it like this. So you click on add a widget, and then you have this. You should have, and again, if you don't have it yet in your account, contact support, and they will give you the instructions on how to enable it, how to add it to your account. So you will have this widget right here, right, which is called carousel. And then once you add it to the homepage, to the page, you will have it here, right? As usual, this is nothing different. And again, once you've learned how to use the general and the main MobiFirst infrastructure, that is pretty simple. That is pretty simple to use. So if you've added it to the page, right? So we have it here, and then we open it. You will recognize that it is similar. It is relatively similar to the another widget that we have had for a very long time, which is the text in columns widget, right? Which is the widget that allows you to show text in columns. We could say basically that this widget is a way to animate, right, and to transform into a carousel the text in columns widget. Okay, so it allows you to give a lot of it has a lot of flexibility, and it allows you to give a lot of movement and a lot of action, let's say, and very easy and effective user experience on your web pages, right? So we will see this part. Yes, will the carousel allow images and videos? Yes, absolutely. Thank you for this question. And yes, it will. We will see now, and as you see already here, a preview of what I will show you. You have these. You have this items, right, in the video. Again, you can add as many list items as you want, and then you show them in a nice carousel, which is also obviously draggable, so you can drag the carousel on mobile especially, but also on desktop. Check this out, you see. So basically here we have the main controls of this widget, where we specify how many items we want to show, how many, let's say, slides that we want to show. And we go from a minimum of one, obviously, to a maximum of all items in the same row. So if we do all items, in this case, it's just 2 items, but we will see that this will come handy later on. And you can differentiate between the number of items that you want to show on desktop and the number of items that you want to show on mobile. Yes, it will allow the clickable links, and you will have the ability to add buttons, right? So you will be able to actually create a button and then use it, for as a clickable as a link anywhere else. So first of all, let's see this simple part. Items to 1, and you see here on mobile in this preview we have 1 item, and on desktop we have 2, and so you see here that we have this. Then we control if we want to show the dots here, the navigational dots right here below with this drop down right here. And if we want to show the prev and next buttons, as you see, we have yes and yes, but it's only showing on mobile. This is because basically here there are no more items, right? Because we have 2 items in total. If we add a third item, actually we clone an item, so we're gonna do it faster, right? So we clone an existing item and we call it item 3, and we change the image. All right. For example, we add this one. Okay, so we have created a third item, right? And we said that we want 2 items on desktop and 1 on mobile. So if you check now, you see that now we have the arrows that allow us to scroll the widget, to scroll the carousel, and we also have the dots at the bottom. There are, let's say, 2 pages. Obviously, the dots are used for pages, for the pages, right? So here, this is the first page, this is the second page, and so on. All right. Then we can change the transition animation, let's say. So we could have classically slide, all right, okay. Then we can have fade, all right. These transitions work, let's see here. You see, they don't work here. They work only when you have only 1 item. So they're very useful in certain cases, all right? So let's put 1 item on desktop 2, all right? So in this case, the transition will actually work, okay? You see, we have 1 item at this point, and you see we have chosen fade, and you see how it very nicely fades one slide into the other, all right? Another pretty cool one is the flip transition. So now let's save this, all right, reload, and then you see that it flips, you see? And this is another pretty nice effect that we can have. And same thing on mobile. All right. Again, let's remember that this happens. The other 2 transitions, the other two transitions, so fade and flip, they work only when there is just 1 item. All right. So if we have 2. It won't work, right? Only the slide transition, because again, it will be considered like a slide here. Is there a way, that there's a question from Just 14 now, is there a way to make the image larger, maybe even full screen? That is something that you control with CSS, right? It's not something that you decide in the carousel. It is something that you can control with CSS, so you can just, as usual, you will just open here you can just open here and inspect. So you could say that you want the image. Now in this case, it's 33% because it's just 1. Again, it's 2 images, but you could say that you can make it as large as the screen. Again, this is everything that you can control. These are all things that you can control with CSS, right? Okay. There is then another pretty nice option, pretty nice feature, which is the autoplay feature, right? So in the autoplay, right, quite simply, the carousel goes on its own after that time. Okay, so it's 3 seconds, and you see that's the speed, right? So you decide the speed. Let's make it a little bit faster. That is in milliseconds, I guess. So let's say 1 second. All right. And you see that it will take 1 second to scroll from 1 automatically. This is going to happen on mobile and also on desktop. and you will see now that it should scroll automatically. You see, bear in mind that if you put your mouse over the carousel, it stops. The system tries to understand things and interprets that action, let's say, as a way to say, wait a second, I'm actually interested in this slide. There's another option, which is the auto scroll, which basically builds constantly. Now, this is a little bit too fast, so let's leave it at 3000. All right, so 3 seconds basically. And as you see, this is a nice sticker, a nice auto scroller that goes automatically, so it can, be used to show contents that you want to scroll. For example, logos. Now, this is maybe even a little bit too fast. So let's say 5000, for example, so which is 5 seconds, and that makes a nice movement in the scrolling of the carousel, right? And again, when you click on it, you can stop it. If you click in this case, since this one is now auto scrolling, and then it changes, but then you can reset it by moving it. You see, you can always drag it and drop it, and the same thing can happen on actually happens on mobile, obviously. Now let's jump to the actual items. Now wait, first let's stop. Let's remove the actually autoplay. All right, so let's not make it autoplay. Okay, because we want a little bit more control. So again, let's go in an item, and oops, because we have to remove the actual auto scroll too. All right, no, and then no. Okay, all right. Okay, so now let's go into an item. All right, and then in an item, you see we have total control of what we can show in any slide, right? So we can add a video here. We can add obviously a button, right? So I don't know, an external link which goes to HTTPS MobiFirst.co. Okay, click here, MobiFirst. All right. So in this case, you see we have a link which goes to MobiFirst. So we can have whatever we want into these. And if you recall, when you create a text in columns, and again, we said the carousel is basically another version of the text in column, or is actually a way to animate a text in columns widget. Everything is clickable, right? The whole column becomes clickable. So you see that we have added this button, but in reality, the whole column is clickable, and clearly these other columns are not clickable. Or better, you can add another. You can clearly, obviously, add another link to another item. Here again, let's add another. Again, it's an external link. It's an external link to HTTPS google.com, and we open this in a new window. All right, so let's save it here. Okay, and then let's go in our carousel. All right, item 1, item 2. Now this one is Google, and when you click, it opens. Right, so you can create all the buttons that you want. Again, a nice and a pretty, and as we said, we can create more than one widget. We can reuse. That is true for any MobiFirst widget, but in this case, it makes a lot of sense. Can make a lot of sense. So we are now creating another carousel in the same page, and in this case, for example, we can add just logos. For example, right? So we have some logos here. All right. And then we have, okay, logo. For example, we have the, let's add the MobiFirst logo. All right. Okay, so now we have, we should have, you see, we have 2 carousels now. And let's add another logo, for example. Okay. So let's add, for example, a similar logo here, but we do it the pink one. All right. Okay. Upload. All right. So you see that we are doing something pretty advanced in a sense that we have two carousels in the same page, and then in this second carousel we auto scroll. We add the auto scroll. Okay, at 4,000 seconds. All right. So you see that we have our carousel at the top. All right. Here, and then we have another carousel here below. Now, obviously, we should be able, and we would then control the height and width of this and these images. Obviously, they're not meant to be used for this kind of stuff, right? But as you see, we have our little carousel down here, which is auto scrolling, right? And then we have our carousel up here, which is different. It is different. Let's say that's a great question. Just 14 now. It is different than the slider. Let's say in a sense that it gives you a lot more control. The slider has a, let's say, different layout and different approach in a sense that it has a background image, and then usually you add text on the slide, let's say on the slide, and you don't have all of these controls that you have here. What we wanted to do is really combine the flexibility of the texting columns widget, which is often which is one of the most common widgets, right? Because it's pretty effective when you want to show, I don't know, services with an icon or people, something like that, right? So that's pretty effective. But at the same time, we wanted also to give more flexibility. You could not do something like what we did here with the logos and with the single images with the slider. So the slider is something which is more, let's say, specific for one usage, while this one is, we believe it is more general purpose, let's say. Donald is asking, Silvio, is this a paid widget? That depends really on your on the account type that you have. So again, if you want to use it, if you want to start testing it and adding it to your web pages and to your websites, I would ask support. I would open a ticket and say, we saw the widget Silvio showed us, the carousel widget during the webinar. Can I have it in my account? Can you add it to my account? And then depending on the plan you are on the products you have purchased, support will enable it or will ask you like a slight difference in payments or something like that. So again, for these questions, which obviously I think are very important, open a support ticket and ask them how you can have it in your account. So yeah, that was pretty much it. In reality, I would be delighted to answer a few questions about this, or if you have any other question. Once we stop with the questions about this, I'll show you once more the B&B widget, and I'll show you what new features we have added and what it is. A swipe option to go to the next image. Well, yeah, those are, let's say, the buttons. The buttons, depending on, you wouldn't reason in terms of image, but of page, right? And each page, let's say, each slide has as many items as you have decided and as you have set here, right? So if you say that you want 2 items per page, right? And one on mobile, this is a page, and then if you click on the button, you see that it swipes. Well, you can swipe on mobile. You see, if you can drag and drop it. Sorry, not drop it. You can drag and move um, and you see, if you can scroll it with your finger, right? So I don't know if that answers your question, but you can actually swipe it with your finger on mobile. You see. Now, the only problem, obviously, with swiping is that these are links, right? So in this case, it would be more useful to actually have a button, use the arrow. But when it's not a link, you see that it actually swipes. And obviously, that depends a little bit on the device, on the phone, on the movement that the user does on the phone. But if it can actually detect the swipe. You see that I'm now swiping. I'm on desktop, so I'm using my mouse. But on mobile, it would be pretty much the same thing. All right. So yeah, if there are any other question about this widget or about any other widget, like obviously feel free to, I mean, keep them coming. I'm more than happy to answer, and I'm here for that. In the meantime, let me also ask you how this YouTube Live experience is going. I mean, are you enjoying it? Did you prefer the Webinar Ninja experience? Is this something that, I mean, can we stick to this? Do you prefer if we go back to Webinar Ninja? Let me know your thoughts and your feedback on this too. Again, for me, the weirdest, I mean, I like obviously YouTube Live, and I like YouTube, and I don't know if you've noticed, but we have also, let's say, rearranged a little bit and we are in the process of rearranging our YouTube channel. But I love YouTube. I use it a lot for learning, for watching, for entertainment too. And so I was pretty excited to use YouTube Live for our webinars. But I'm also very, very interested in what you think about this experience. Would this work for a full page spread? I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Again, though, anything that we create a director? Okay, I'm gonna answer that question. Just answering the question about the full page spread. Um, all the dimensions, all the positions, and all that. Those are things that you can always control on with CSS. Now, depending if you know some CSS already, as you know, I have a course that you can buy on MobiFirst on our platforms. If you're interested, again, also in that case, we're gonna put it a little bit more prominent on the platform. But if you're interested, just go to my personal website or ask support. With CSS, you can control all of these things. And you can, again, I'm not going to show you here all of the possibilities that we have, but it's very, very easy in reality to change the layout, if it's full page, the size of the buttons, for example. We were talking about the size of arrows and all that. You can change that with CSS. And let me just show you very quickly. And then I'm sorry, no, let's answer Donald's questions first. Silvio, can we create a directory in MobiFirst? Yes, of course. You can create, I would use a set of lists. And if you remember, okay, everybody seems to be liking YouTube, so I'm really happy about that, and we're gonna go with this format then. Anyway, you on MobiFirst, what I would suggest is you create a list of lists, so a collection of lists using the list widget. And if you remember, and we have it also here actually in the items, for each item in a list, you can specify tags, which can help you in the search. You can have a map. You can add related, similar or nearby items. So I think that option, that system, and I would create one list or one page for each category, right? So you can, I think very quickly and very easily create a directory of, I guess, businesses, restaurants, whatever, and a searchable directory, because then you can use the search widget, right? Specifying what you want to actually search into, right? So I would say that MobiFirst with the list item, with the list widget, sorry, and with the search widget, and then you also have, let's say, what we call the list preview widget, which basically allows you to extrapolate, to get a preview or just a snippet of what you have in each list, so in each category. So I would say that you can use that, you can use what we have on MobiFirst very effectively to create a list and a directory of anything geolocated. Let's not forget that all our lists, when you add geolocation streaming is very choppy. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I think that's more a YouTube issue though, since I think that some people are actually seeing it pretty well. So I hope it improves. I hope it improves. We were saying that when you use a list widget and items in the list have a map, so have a location, you can see always by default the list either in the classical list format, so with the actual items with their title and abstract and all that, or without you having to do anything, you see it on the map as markers on the map. So I think actually with all these features, MobiFirst is pretty effective and pretty useful for building directories. We were saying that we wanted to do a little bit of CSS, right? So let me show you, for example, real quick, how we can customize the way the arrows, let's say the buttons, work, right? Or how we can customize their layout and look. So these are basically, you see, this is the class nav. So let's go in the style section, all right? So let's add some custom CSS here. So this is the class. And then we will have the actual button. All right, the actual button. All right, so let's say that we want, for example, this is a class. Okay, no, actually it's a button. Oh, okay, right. It's actually a tag, right? The button tag. Okay, you see. So here, like this, we control these are the identifiers of that item. So for example, we could say background red and color white. Okay. So now if we save and we now check, all right. Okay, let's see. I think we have to force it a little bit. Okay. Okay. Now let's force it here. Let's see it here. Okay. And you see, let's say that, yeah, we have this. So we have to force it. All right. Background red and color white. Okay, let's see if this one works this time. You see, we had to force it with the important keyword because there was already a definition for that. And you see, we have now changed the way the buttons look like with just 4 lines of CSS. All right, so just to quickly show you that you can control this. First of all, thank you, Richard. Okay, I'm sorry. It'll be better on the replay. Yeah, hope so. When the session is made full screen, we lose the ability to see the surround sound, if you know what I mean. Full screen lose the ability to chat. Well, yeah, you can actually, let's say, how do you say? You can extract, let's say, the chat pop-up. So I guess you could do that, right? You can like open the chat in a dedicated window, and then have at the same time the full screen experience, the full screen experience for the video. We obviously, I guess, if since it looks like you're actually liking, or better, it's not, I mean, unusable. So I guess we will keep doing it here on YouTube. It helps, in the distribution for us. I like this format. We need to, come up with the ability to actually join, also to use, also to have guests, so that Scotty can be here with me at times, and all that. But yeah, I think we are going to go with this. We're going to go with this. In any case, even in the replay, if you want to add your comment, and add it now, that would be awesome, because as usual, that allows us to understand what you prefer, and we adapt, what we do to what is best for you, which is our core community, and what we do all this for in reality. So now, going back to, I guess, let me again, let's have a few more minutes. Yes, YouTube Live automatically saves the playback. And by the way, you will see this. We will add this immediately to our webinars playlist. So when you come to the YouTube channel, to our YouTube channel, we have decided to have, let's say, top webinars, because we think there are some webinars which deserve a little bit more attention, a little bit more, let's say, focus. So, like, for example, about the PWA, about the white label, and those webinars, and we will cycle those webinars, but you will find all of the webinars and all of the videos basically as soon as the live stream is over. You will find it in the channel. So obviously, I guess you are all already subscribed, but I would suggest that you absolutely subscribe there, so we can have them there, and you can always be alerted when we have a new live, and you can always be also alerted, and you will always have access to the past webinars and the replays. Again, we were saying, thank you, Mary. Well, thank you, John. Actually, I think. Well, yeah. There's also this thing, in a sense, that I guess I see the username that you have on YouTube. So for somebody, for example, John, it's actually another. I see another username, also just 14. Now, I'm pretty sure you are a well-known member of the community, but I don't know who you are at the moment. So that's another. And also in this case, we'll have to learn a little bit how to interact and recognize you, even when you haven't specified your full name, or a username that we recognize. Anyway, so we were saying we have about a few more minutes. So if you have more questions. Dawn, okay, perfect. Awesome. Now I know that when I will see the just 14, now it's dawn. Great. So how are you switching to CSS below? Well, I guess you are wondering how I do this. Okay, so we are now on a page. Then you click with the right button of your mouse. Now, obviously, this is in Italian, but it will be the same. This is Chrome, the Chrome browser, and it's in Italian, but the menu will be exactly the same. And you will then have an inspect menu item here. So you click there, and the let's say, developer tools open here below. Here you have a set of different tabs, right? Elements, console, sources, and these are all very useful. And maybe one day we're gonna talk about this too, if you are interested. The one we are interested, the one which are, let's say, important at the moment is the elements tag, right? Elements tab, sorry, where we see the actual source of the page with the corresponding CSS, right? So we click, for example, so we highlight this div right here, okay? And we see the CSS here, right? So for example, let's say that we want to make images with rounded borders, okay? So we need to do it at this level right here, all right? And here we see the CSS. So what we do is we copy this definition, this identifier, then we go in the custom CSS in the style section, okay, of the website, and in the custom CSS. Then we do this, okay, so this is the identifier, and then we say border radius 20 pixels. All right, okay, then we save. Okay, and then if we go here, whoops, what happened? I think I inadvertently deleted. No, okay, sorry, we're just loading. You see here that now all the images in the slider are with rounded corners. All right, we want to add a shadow. All right, then we say box shadow, 2 pixels, 2 pixels, 5 pixels, and black. Okay, let's save here. Okay, obviously the computer is a little bit slower. All right, and you see that we have added a little shadow. Okay, that is what CSS is for. And you can control with CSS, again, I will never get tired of saying this. And that is the reason also why the only course I've created so far is a CSS course. There are many other things that I could try to teach you, and I will be happy to teach you, from JavaScript to SEO to general digital marketing to HTML and all that. But my focus has been on CSS because it is what it allows you to completely control and to completely customize the way your websites and your web pages look. And not only on MobiFirst, obviously, but anywhere, because CSS is universal. Any HTML page is built exactly the same way, and any HTML page uses exactly the same CSS. So the CSS you will learn from me, from somebody else, is exactly what you can use in any case on any page, right? So you've seen very quickly how we identified what we want to change, and then we went in the style section, and then in the custom CSS, we added some CSS here, and here, this is the result. All right, that is really, and CSS again is extremely powerful. It has grown in power and extension, let's say, in the past 10 years, ever since CSS3, and then all of the other evolutions. So you can now do a lot of things, and many of the things that actually happen. For example, we said the transitions, right? That we saw previously. No, we said that you can change the transition type. You can say that when it's one, you can say that the transition is flip, and this transition that we're going to see now is actually done only using CSS. Hey, Cindy. Hi there. You see, all this is done only using CSS, and using CSS instead of external widgets, external, let's say, pieces of JavaScript and all that, is extremely effective and reduces the load on the browser, right? Because let's say the browsers are, optimized to run and execute CSS and understand CSS, while JavaScript is, let's say, a programming language And so using and learning CSS is great. Awesome, Dawn. Now I know who you are. I'm really happy. Dawn says that this widget might very well be exactly what I was trying to accomplish. Again, I wanted to show you this widget because I think its power is in its flexibility. Again, it's similar to the slider, but the slider is more, let's say, focused, is more, let's say, single purpose. This one is much more flexible, and you can use it for many, many things. Again, to show a continuous flow and a continuous ticker of news, for example. That's one way to do it. To show single slides, to show slides on mobile, and then instead a ticker on or a larger slider on desktop. So it's a lot, and then adding links, buttons, videos. This is a lot more flexible. And you know what? I actually haven't tried it to add a video yet. So let me try to add a video and let's see what happens. So let me go on YouTube. Let's take okay, Chelsea, Manchester City. I don't know if I'm actually gonna piss off somebody. Well, obviously it's in Italian, so, but anyway, let's add a video here and let's see what happens. I haven't tried it yet, so let's see if it breaks everything. Okay. Nah, it's not. Well, I think maybe it's just that the video it's not there. So we need to work on the video, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, it's not there. All right. We're gonna try to understand why it's not working. But again, we're gonna work on this and try to understand. But maybe it's just because we don't have a title video. Let's see. Let's see. No, the video is not playing. All right, yeah, we'll see why it's not actually playing, but it should be. No, I think it's the same. I mean, and also what I wanted to let you know, guys, is that now I added this, so I pasted and copy YouTube URL, but apparently it's not working. I need to understand why. But in general, you can paste a video URL like this from Vimeo, from Facebook, from whatever, but you can also paste an iframe, right? So if it's a self-hosted video, you have the iframe, just paste the actual iframe here, and it will work exactly the same. Actually, let's see. Maybe let's see if we paste the. Let's see if we paste the. Okay, let's see if we paste the actual. Okay, share, embed. Okay, copy. Let's see if we paste this. Let's see if it works. All right. No, okay. Again, we need to work on this. It should be working. I mean, the idea is that we will make it work. So, and I'm actually very transparent, as you see, and I usually test things or try things along with you. We have considered it. I mean, we use it for images, for text, for buttons, for links. So I don't think having like a carousel of videos is a great idea, also because it makes the browser really heavy. But we want to make it work also for that. So I will update you. I will update you on. That. Final thing, if there are no more questions about this widget, I just want to give you a quick, a quick update on the B&B widget. We talked about it last week, and we added quite a few features in the past days. So if you remember, this is the B&B widget, right? So now we have all the buffers and all that, but we also have we added some, uh, we have added some additional fees, so when you do the check-in, check-out, you can specify also some cleaning total fees, additional fixed fees, and also some percentage fees that will be added again as a percentage to the total of the order. The next development that we will add to the system is that you will be able to see, as you see now, you have the calendar, but then you need to log in or register before you can actually see like pricing and all that. We're going to change that in a sense that you will be able to see everything. So you will be able to select how many people and all that. The system will tell you it's going to cost you this, and then it will, if you want to proceed, it will ask you to actually log in or register or log in. I guess this is pretty much it for today. But CSS code is hopefully only for 2-3% of the sites. And there is this heart here of the site code. No, CSS is it's not really code actually. CSS is a way of describing. Yeah, let's put it that way. A way of describing to the browser. Okay, so you are talking to the browser essentially, and you are describing how you want your contents to be shown. Right. So again, as we said, you're telling the browser, I want images to have rounded corners and a shadow beneath them, right? And you use this piece of code. Now, this is another thing. This is for the red arrows, okay? So use this piece of code, and basically you tell the browser, I want this. Everything that you see on MobiFirst, and for example, again, this is our let's say, institutional website, and all this is done with CSS, right? Right? If you strip them, I don't know if there is a tool that allows us to do this, but if you stripped, it is if you strip CSS, you would just see like basic button, the content and all that. So that's a good also exercise to do sometimes, to strip, to remove all the CSS. And I'm pretty sure there are some tools on some browser extensions that do this. So you strip all of the content, all of the CSS, sorry, and you see how the website looks like, right? And that's the content. And then you add the CSS, and so you say, I want to use this font for the H1s, for example. I want to use this font for the H2. Then I want my buttons to have a pink color, a pink background color, and be white. And then when you mouse over, so there's also, the interactivity, right? So when you mouse over, then I want to change it. I want the button background color to change to something else. Same thing here. And then I want, my text, my body text to be with this font and this color. And then I want this section with this class to have this button, this layout, and blah, blah, blah. And that is what CSS is for, right? So it's not really, it's not mandatory. And that's why we have created MobiFirst. That's because so you don't have to do any of that, right? But that is also why you need to learn it. I think it's important for you to learn it because it gives you a lot of more control and flexibility. And especially, that is what I say every time, it allows you to sell your services to your customers for a much higher price. So that is why a course like mine, but like any other which is out there, obviously, I think, and people that bought and took the course say it's very nice. But a course like mine is an investment in your knowledge, and therefore in the prices you can charge to your customers. All right, I hope you enjoyed this session too. I hope you're gonna use the carousel widget. Again, if you don't see it, Yeah, okay. So, okay, Mary James was G Images, no, not Mary James. Mary James was John. Um, when you go on YouTube, for example, you can copy the iframe of so the embed code. You can copy from YouTube, from anywhere there's a video. Usually, you can copy the embed code. You can copy. You can use that embed code. Let's see. You see, we said here a video. You can embed. You can use that. Let's see if it's just a matter of adding an image. You can, you see, this is the code that you get from YouTube. You can paste that code right here, and the system, if it's a pretty normal embed code, the system should actually recognize it and show it without any problem. Now, it's not doing it. Could be. It's not showing it in the carousel, but that's okay. But in any other place, because the carousel is a little bit of a specific, of a special place. But if we add normal, it's like a content block, for example, and we add it here, content block, and then you can add the iframe here. Okay. This should actually, you see, now this video is unavailable, all right, because, but it works here. Now you cannot add it here, but that's all right. That's because they decided. But as you see, we just added the iframe code, and then you see it here in the page. You see, again, it's unavailable because these guys, I mean, they don't want to show you, to allow you to embed it in other websites. But this means that this is working. All right. So you can copy the video URL, or you can copy the full iframe. All right. Makes sense? Okay, guys, I guess we spent another hour together. I had a lot of fun. Thank you a lot for all your questions and for your interactivity. Thank you for, engaging with me. We will, look out on, check your email and check also YouTube. We usually post our next lives on the channel and on the platforms, and we send it via email. So just let me know if you have a few more minutes, if you enjoyed this video. Again, if you enjoyed the format, if everything worked fine. I'm sorry if you had some, if the video was sloppy at times. I don't know if it's YouTube, us, whatever. Let's hope to fix it in the next session. We are going to work on this. And yeah, it's always great to have you here. Again, let us know in the comments in the support system if you prefer something else, if you like YouTube. Again, let us know what you prefer, and we'll try to adapt and we'll try to do what works best. Again, for the community in a pretty relatively democratic way. We'll try to do it as well as possible. All right. So again, we are at the end of the hour, and thank you so much. It was great. I'll be here for a few more, let's say for one more minute. Again, we have this little delay, so if you have some literally last minute questions, I'm going to be here. Otherwise, thank you so much and have a great week.